How are we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. We're back with the wonderful Beverli Rhodes for a Awaken with Beverli Rhodes special. The wonderful Beverli has been doing her incredible skills and has some interesting things to report. But before we do that, how are you, Beverli? What's been happening today and how are you doing?
Very excited. I had lots of lots of remote viewing, lots of looking at stuff and people and all sorts of things coming through. So it's been a great day. Plus, I've got a new double terminated crystal. Look at that.
Love that. Love that.
So beautiful. So I was very pleased with that. So I'm having a play. So it's been a very good day. How are you, Ron?
I'm all right. Everything's a bit stressful in Ron's world right now. But
well, you're a new baby. It's always stressful with new babies.
The baby's all right, man. It's just life at the moment seems to be just getting a bit spicy. But we like a bit of spice. Do you know what I'm saying? Nothing like a bit of spice to put in reality. Things,
especially if it's the right sort of spice.
Yeah. Oh. Kind of. So how's things been? Who are we delving into today, first of all?
We're delving into Trump. We're going to have a quick look at TikTok. And then I've got all sorts of things that with the Meghan Markle person. And really, those are the main ones. Yeah. And of course, Musk. I had a look at Musk.
Yeah. Well, for me, obviously, I did quite a lot of reporting on Meghan Markle.
You did the Royal Show.
Yeah, for a while, actually. It was pretty much the dominant side of the content that I was making here. And yeah, I mean, if we can choose where we jump in, I'd love to.
What would you like? Would you like Meghan Markle first?
Yeah, please. I'm going to sneeze as well. So give me 1 second.
Bless you. Bless you. Okay, so this is part of the transmission and the psychic download, as well as I did a little bit of remote viewing on her and her situation, her family, etc. And then I needed to go back to provide content and context with what I was seeing, because I'd seen a couple of very strange things and I thought, that doesn't sound right to me. So I went back and had a look on the timeline as well. And I looked particularly at Thomas Markle Sr. And that was quite an interesting deep dive into him, because when I had a look, I found he's got reduced energy and his health has reduced his energy a lot, which means that he appears to be transitioning or moving into a totally different way forward. So, and also when I looked there at him, there was also a lot of statements where I saw Thomas with sitting at the table. Meghan Markle was really young and she was at college. And then I saw him sitting at the dining room table and he was like looking through his bills and looking at like the water and the electric and his bank statement and all of that. And he was looking through to see what could he stop paying, like a subscription or something specific. What could he stop paying in order so that he could pay the college fees for Meghan and he could pay what he needed to pay, which I thought that was quite sad. As parents, I think we all do that. We all give the best to our children, and if we've got to sacrifice things for ourselves and not have stuff, then we do that. So he was doing that. So that was when I looked into him particularly. But when I started looking further forward, I saw that Meghan was pushing this victim narrative. But the interesting thing from that was when I looked into her energies and her frequencies around her, there's absolutely nothing at the moment based on her energy body as it is right now, as of the 19th of January. There's nothing in her energy body right now that shows that she could overturn or change what has been created. So the situation that she finds herself in is of her own creation. Also, it does show that her soul path because she was given a soul path and she was given something that she needed to do when she was here. Now, she hasn't adhered to that. The pursuit of money and further fame, that is going to end in tears. And the way that she can change that energy is to reboot the Meghan Markle person and the new Meghan Markle energy. And the only way to do that is through a new marriage. So, yeah, I know. Oh, dear. So from that point of view, I then looked at Prince Harry and his energies. But then I also, because I did a lot of looking into other cases with Prince Andrew, I had recollection of his energies. And what was quite interesting is the Prince Harry's energies were on this side, and then the Prince Andrew's energies were on this side. And when you put the two together, they're both pretty much in the same category. They don't have a lot of luck, firstly, and secondly, they can't distinguish. They don't have that inner compass where you can distinguish between, is this person over here, he's necessarily coming from a good space, a good energy. Neither of them have that ability or that inner intuition to be able to understand where this person is coming from that might be standing in front of them. And they're both exactly the same on that score. As far as their psychic intelligence or their ability to grasp the energies and the frequencies coming off a person in front of them, they're both really not that good. They're not able to see accurately what that person has got in front of them. So it's quite sad really for him, because I think he was really hoping that things would be different. And I think because they were given, when I had a look back again, I looked back at what was happening in the palace at the time. And when I popped in there, the late Queen was suggesting to the Meghan Markle person that she should reach out to her father because he's poorly, and the wedding was coming up. That was obviously in the past. Wedding was coming up. She was very sweet. She said, he's your dad, he's your father, he's not well. I suggested you reach out to him. And Meghan, in what I saw, she just oh, you don't understand, I think under her breath. And she decided that she wasn't going to take that advice and flounced out the room. So that was one. So she shook her father off, basically. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So Meghan was never ignored, though, because when I saw what was happening in those areas, in the palace and with them, they had a huge opportunity at the time, a very big opportunity to become, the secondary shining couple. They could have been, a mixed couple that was a huge success story. And really, from what I'd seen, particularly, I felt sorry for the late Queen, because when she had suggested to Meghan to reach out to her father, she said it in such a kind way. And, she as herself felt, this is your father, and you spent so much time with him, just reach out to him and try to make things right. And I could see that energy in the late Queen in her own sort of like nana granny ways, ever so cutesy, bless her. And then Meghan obviously they were given a private secretary for 18 months. They were given these ideas of a new blueprint for a royal couple, which is very far away from the couple that we see now. That obviously the prince remains royal because he was born royal. But the issue here with the Meghan Markle energy is very much a case of money, further fame, grab, and a little bit on the narcissistic side. So, I don't know what
a little bit on the narcissistic side. I mean, I'll be honest. The stuff that I've witnessed from Meghan Markle over the last couple of years has been eye-opening, because I was on one side of the fence until I started reporting on these two, and Vanity Fair turning around and putting a headline up called "American Hustle" to describe the two of them is a massive kick in the teeth. Big shout out Paula M as well. She put this up on Twitter. And anybody who's watching knows the amount of madness that Paula's gone through when she's spoken about the American hustle and these two. It's all sort of coming to fruition, shall we say. But what's interesting is we always had, poked fun at these two. And one of the big things was, when will she, go and find herself a billionaire? Because the only way up.
Oh, that's in here as well. I've got it in there. I've got it. She's stalking a couple of billionaires. That's the new marriage I picked up, the reboot. She has to have a new marriage. And she has to be Meghan Part 4 or whatever it is. And it has to be a billionaire, because it can't, another prince from another family or royal family won't touch her with a 10-foot barge pole.
Well,
but
I would be doing our royal fans an injustice if I didn't ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any rules about this, but I don't know if you know the mythology behind the children of Harry and Meghan, right? Like,
I do a bit about it, because what I did.
When was the last time? When was the last time you seen a photo of them that wasn't an unconscious child being held by a mother with the back of their head shown? When was the last time we seen any photos of these kids? You haven't, right? And it's a bit of a joke a couple of years ago, bit of a ha-ha. Oh, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Oh. But then month after show after show after show goes on, still no kids. And I've seen some really, really, really weird footage, Beverli, of like Meghan walking down a country road, right? For a start, what are you doing, Meghan? Right? So she's got her 2 security guards and she's got a baby strapped to her chest. And I'm telling you now, it looks like a doll in a carrier that has been wired to her body, right? And this is all allegedly. But there's always been this huge, where are the children? Like, almost to the point where I was going to fly over to America and knock on the door and be like, hiya, just a concerned citizen from the monarchy here. Just want to do a welfare check on the kids. Others, Azria, how you doing, Azria? Because and then again, yourself, right? Like, when you have a baby, you shouldn't be able to stand with your knees almost like together and bend your knees and go up and down in a set of high heels.
There's no way you could do that after having a baby. Oh my goodness.
There's all of these suspicious images that look like there's one of these Hollywood prosthetic bumps going on. I'm telling you, Beverli, I have done probably 100 hours of content in 2 years just on where are the kids, right? Where are they?
That's amazing. I didn't know that. I just looked at I looked at her specifically because there's a lot of her energies are like all over the place. And that's why I said there's nothing that can save her now specifically.
Yeah, oh no, 100%. Stuck in the web of her own doing.
That I've got here, this is that she's a wannabe, and that the frequencies she felt that she was royal. But then I've got popping spikes is what I've got in my notes. And that there's the interesting thing there is that there's no more secrets. And that's a key thing here, is that when she went to pick up her frozen eggs, because that is documented, documented. I think that at some point, because of the succession and the line of succession, whatever happened, the couple are going to have to provide evidence and spill the tea. They're just going to have to do it, because it's just too much. There's too much at stake for the kiddies, really. Not so much for them, but for the children.
It's interesting that you say she's a wannabe, okay? Because I'm going to throw some more. I'm just going to chuck some facts to back all this up, right? Because, Beverli, when you've never had a podcast in your life and Spotify call you up and go, all right, Meghan, we're going to give you $30 million. All you've got to do is make sense for 1 hour a week, okay?
Oh, wow.
And the whole project plateaus. And I mean, some people have been, I'm telling you, there was a bunch of people fired at Spotify over her podcast. And then she goes to another platform and she just can't do it. She just can't do it. So the wannabe factor is 100% there. And
yeah, and I can actually add a bit to that, because when I popped in to have a look at that, it was, I say wannabe because she kind of thought that she would parachute in and that she would usurp the two that are in line, in the succession line, and that she would somehow be able to engineer it so that she could become sort of the next queen, if you like. And that's what I saw, which is why there was this popping of the energies and this happening, and that's what I thought. But that's like a wannabe. How silly. Yeah, well, that's being a silly sausage, thinking that
Beverli, listen, we put it all together. All she needs to do is get the the king and the queen and William and Catherine and all their children on a plane or a boat, and an act of God was to happen, right? And then Harry, with the grief, can't take it anymore. Queen Meghan. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's how simple the planet is. Okay, and the joke's always been that for me. But here's the thing, right? Do you think? Because I've always said the most powerful Meghan Markle is Meghan the widow, right? If Meghan became a widow, she will take her final form. She will have control over those kids. She will have all the power. I'm just saying. So for me, I just think she's a bit sneaky. I haven't seen the kids.
Yeah, I think it goes a bit more than sneaky, because, you know, when I looked at her, she had tink, 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 all these wee little spikes all over the place. But she did have a lot of sort of holes and tears in the frequency and the energy body. So there is, she does, in a way. That's why I think, in my view, I think she's able to pull off the whole, you know, I'm a victim type thing quite easily, because she draws upon whatever this hurt that she had from years ago. I think she's pulling on that hurt, and that's how she can pull off this whole victim side of things. But I think when she realized that she wasn't going to run the firm, and that she wasn't going to be in Catherine's place, and that there was never going to be a chance for the two of them to be, you know, a king and queen and be the next in line, I think that's when she started whispering not just sweet nothings, but whispering her plan of what she felt that she would want to do in order to make all the changes, because she just knew she wasn't going to be able to do that.
Well, we often said that day one of moving into the palace, she'll have been trying to do L'Oreal sponsored Instagram posts and using her position to make money. And I don't think she actually realized what the deal was, if I'm being honest, right? Because obviously royals aren't allowed to profit from their position. They have everything that they need. If they need something, they can request it from the state. So for some people, right, they having the opportunity to have anything you want isn't enough, Beverli. Some people need the big pile of money, right? The big pile of money that's theirs. And she was one of them, man, because she could, either of these two could have went either way. These two had an opportunity in front of them to change the whole world. The world was watching, and everyone's still living in the shadow of Diana. It's just, you know what I mean? And boy, did they screw it up. I mean, royally screw it up.
Oh dear.
They couldn't have done
it was a bit of a bun fight, wasn't it? Yeah. And I think, you know, when I popped in, I only popped in for a short time and then popped out again. And I thought, oh my goodness me, this is like being on a set of some sort of very, very big Hollywood drama of some sort, because I think she was controlled in some way, because she had to be not quiet, but you had to rein it in a bit. And I think the energies around her are the type of person. She doesn't like to say no or do something that somebody else wants. It's everything according to the Meghan Markle.
So there is one lady called Doria in this, right? Who's Meghan Markle's mum.
The drug dealer.
Put a massive one in the side chat if you would just have a whole hour, right? A whole hour where we just go into Doria. And again, Ron, this is nostalgic for Ron. Ron has not touched any royal stuff in a while. Ron's got too much knowledge. Ron shouldn't know the things he knows about Meghan Markle, okay? So, because Doria is always one that I've always wanted to do a live stream on, but everything out there is so scattered on her. She's very elusive, right, in this whole thing.
Well, I'll tell you what I picked up, seeing as you know so much about this. The Doria person that was the energy around the Meghan Markle, the mothering aspect, which is why she doesn't have a close reference to a mothering energy because of the Doria person. The Doria person was stoned out of her bracket a lot of the time, or alternatively, she had a few too many bevies, a couple of wee drams, plus whatever else, what other substances they
allegedly, just in case any lawyers are watching,
allegedly, yes. And also, I'd seen her as a much younger, very pretty woman when she was much younger, and I'd seen her as a much younger woman, being able to look after herself, but very, very streetwise. And she was able to make a lot of things happen because she was streetwise. She knew things. She knew how to get around. She knew how to make sure every minute counted and every minute was worth a couple of dollars, which was really good. But I also saw her handing over things, and to me, it looked like some substance trading was happening.
Sure. Could have been Etsy sales. Could have been handmade ashtrays. Could have been anything. Yeah, could have been anything.
Yeah, it could have been any type of sales, because for her, every minute was worth $1. Every minute counted. So the energy with her was, make sure whatever you're doing, make sure you get paid for it. If you're going to do a recital, or if you're going to do a show, or if you're going to do something specific, make sure you get paid. And I think that the Meghan Markle person was trained in this way.
Yeah, I mean, you've got everyone in the side chat is basically nodding along with what you're saying here, because those are things that we've heard before, especially when it comes to the planty substances and things like this. There was even a report from a former maid that worked with Meghan Markle, who said that Doria was around all the time and she liked to smookaboo.
Yeah, I do agree with Elisa 22. The woman used Meghan's dad, the chap Thomas Markle Senior. I think yes, I would say definitely. And I think that the way that the lessons, because you learn a lot up to the age of sort of 6-ish. 6 or 7, you learn a lot of lessons from your mum and from your dad. And I think a lot of the lessons were unusual lessons that the Meghan Markle entity learned at the time, bless her. So a lot of where she's at with her energies are not necessarily from her own making, because they're from, youth, from childhood, but a lot of the older ones is unfortunately of her own making. So yeah, very, very difficult for her.
Well, look, I could sit here and rant with Beverli about Meghan Markle all evening, but there's other people on the list here who I know Beverli wants to get, wants to touch on too. Who are we going to next? Who's next?
I'm just going to go quickly. I'm just going to go quickly to the cooking show. Energetics of the cooking show. So the one thing I got with it when I popped in there, because I went to go look at the little doggy, which was very cute. That I looked at it, but I got here energetically buzzing, and the buzzing with negative frequencies. And then I've got a piece which very odd, and because I'm not in sort of TV world, I don't quite know how it works. But what I will share it with you anyway, because I've got it for you, is that Netflix possibly might utilize what they call hateful viewership, possibly, or because any viewer is better than no viewer. Talk about being absolutely desperate. Yeah. So yeah, not good. And then the other thing I got, it was a donut. And I've got that Harry fulfilled a man's dreams by giving him a donut. And I think that was something to do with being the disaster tourists and going here, there, and everywhere, and doing stuff while clasping each other's hands rather desperately. So that was that. Yeah, weird. And the other one also is I've got positive evidence to spill the tea about her pregnancy, covering both of them, as the DNA energy reveals that the children, the babies, are their children. They are definitely their children. absolutely are their children. But I did not see at the time, I wasn't able, I would only ever be able to catch her from the back. And you look very different from the back when you're expecting. Sometimes from the back, if you're lucky enough, you don't even look like you're expecting. So I cannot say for sure yet whether it was her carrying it or whether it was someone else carrying, but I can say for sure the DNA on the babies, they are definitely the couple's babies. Absolutely, they're babies.
Okay, so what about the possibility then? How does it work if someone has a surrogate, right? That's someone's eggs, someone's little tadpole, they go in together in a little dish, and then it gets trapped inside a lady, right?
Yeah.
So then that lady's DNA is not part of the baby then?
No, it's
Okay.
not.
So technically, we need to just get the surrogacy stuff. That's this is part. I'm telling you, Meghan part 2 is going to be surrogacy and Doria, because now I'm intrigued.
I know for sure she picked up. I know for sure because I tracked her timeline, and she agreed for her eggs, her frozen eggs, to be collected. She did not go and collect them herself. She sent someone else to collect them, but she had signed the forms, and that's where the collection happened. And the insertion, because having been through a surrogacy myself many, many years ago, I was one of the first surrogacies that did something to for a friend of mine. And I do remember having to sign a form that the eggs and others, that it was a tissue sample, that it belonged to my friend and her husband who couldn't have children. So she would have had to have signed the same release form, that it's a tissue, that is a tissue, number of tissues, that is being placed back wherever. So that's where I think if anyone was able to get that paper trail, that's where the evidence would be. But I also think if they as a couple cannot prove that she carried them to term, it will bring into question the level of
well, this is the thing, Bev.
Yeah.
The wonderful Paula M's taught us this as well. Do you know how it's only not as crazy in the past as you'd think that all royal births had to be witnessed? Okay.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did.
And then the doctor, and there's meant to be 3 or 4 other witnesses' signatures that go on a piece of paper. And now what happens is that piece of paper is meant to be displayed after the birth for the public to see, blah, 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 blah. And I tell you what, we don't have time, but Paula M has, she's taught us the way of all this, and it's a bit mad. Now, everyone's sort of freaking out about Trump and the inauguration. I don't know what's everyone's freaking out.
Yeah, that was I did him today. I did have a good look. I started having a look at him on Friday when we were still in Spain, because we'd actually met with somebody at the hotel that we know. And we were comparing notes and saying, what about this? What about that? And so I said, well, I'm going to do a session later tonight on Friday, on the 18th, and have a look and see, 17th, and have a look and see if what else I was picking up, because we had all agreed at the time. Funnily enough, we all said that they would move from the outside to the inside, not just because of the weather, but because of other concerns and possibly maybe security concerns, is what we'd said. But the other thing is my question at the time was, who was Trump before? Who was he in a past life? Because his energy is huge. And his energy has this very, very large, extremely wild set of fields. And when we talk about ancestral energies that come in from the 2 different sides and they go into a person and they do all these amazing things. And I thought, well, I think a lot of it is coming from past life. So I thought, right, I'm going to go back and back and back and back and back into the Trump individual's timeline in his lives and go and have a look and see who was he, where was he, what country was he in, and what was he in the social standing, because that would explain to me why his energy is so elevated and his energy in this life is so direct, and it's like it's like a dog with a bone. He wants to do something, that's it. Don't stand in his way, because you just go and get on with it. So what I did is I had a look at from my spiritual standpoint and insight. I then traced him right back to 1736 to 1795. And in his past life, he was Qianlong, had a 60-year reign as, guess what, a wonderful Chinese emperor. So that was an unbelievable revelation to me. And he was a reigning Qing dynasty emperor. So that tells us why he has that way about him. It also explains why he has a great affinity with Xi Jinping, and how they're able to see each other and they're able to find common ground. And that's why he will be able to create a peaceful environment with Xi Jinping, because somewhere within his psyche and his soul, he will be able to draw on his ancestral learnings from his time as Qianlong in that particular dynasty in 1736. Also, what's key is that the Qing emperor, Qianlong, was very, very, very close to his father and his grandfather, who was Kangti. And the grandfather bit came up so strongly because in his time, he decided to abdicate after 60 years of being on the throne, because his grandfather, Kangti, had been on the throne for 61 years. And because he loved his grandfather so much, he didn't want to embarrass him by reigning longer than his grandfather, so he abdicated. And he was extremely close to his own father as well, which was Fred Trump. So when I started then joining all the dots, and then I thought, hang on a minute, we've got Xi Jinping, we've got Trump. What is the situation there? Then I had a look, I linked Xi Jinping and Trump together, and I had a look at the two of them together, and the two actually get on extremely well. And he has this grandfatherly way. And I think in time, Trump will end up becoming or being called China's grandfather king or grandfather emperor. And I can guarantee you at some point, they're going to realize that Trump was a spirit or a soul from history.
Well, I think, oddly enough, I can almost see if Trump was to come in and like fix or overturn or do something that regards the whole TikTok situation, you could see how his status could be raised. And I know there's a lot more that can happen between America and China, but if it's something that you're thinking of that's happening now that or something that you could be picking up on, it could be that, because I know that would be quite massive, because I know TikTok is now no longer in the US.
Off, isn't it? They're offline. Yeah, I had a look at that. But if you do change your location where you are, if you change it to another state or like Canada, or change it to UK or something, then you can still do whatever you do. I don't do TikTok. I have no clue how to do TikTok. So from that point of view, but I also picked up because Xi Jinping and Trump get on so well, I think that there's going to be an invitation within the first 100 days. And this is a prediction. You heard it here first on this channel, special edition. Trump will be invited by Xi Jinping to come to the Capitol and sit with him. And I think at the time it is possible that Trump will talk business and say, what if I buy TikTok? So
somebody's going to be well, here's the thing. They're going to be looking to fill that gap in the market that TikTok has left. Do you know what I'm saying? So whether it's a political or diplomatic thing or just a money grab, somebody's going to fill that hole. I just want to point that out right now. So what about obviously a lot of people have pinned a lot of hope on Trump, okay, whether it is members of his cabinet saying that they want to push for the no more life penalty for R-worders and PDF files and things like this. Trump's always been sort of on the the right side of the fight. If that is, do you know what I'm saying? He was on some certain flight lists and things like this,
Yeah.
but he seems to have always been the one fighting the better fight, if that makes sense. Oh, someone Beverly's pushed a button.
Yeah, he is most definitely, and that is definitely part of his projecting his energy, and that is because he is quite single-minded. He has got a sole purpose, and I think what I might be doing is I might ask Tia if she can do a soul plan for Trump, and just have a look and see what are the symbols and what is his path, etc. And then at some point, maybe in February, where we can, within the first 100 days of Trump being in his position, maybe what we can do is a Trump soul plan with Tia, and she can explain why he is the way he is, because I definitely pick up an emperor king type of energy around him. And I think what we will see very, very soon is we're going to see this wave of love across China for Trump. And I think they're going to have an expectation and pressurize their own leader, Xi Jinping, to make amends and to make peace, and to follow the way, the energies that Trump has. And they're going to be pressurizing their leaders and people in the country to do that. So
you see, do you think that, I mean, you can go and shake as many hands as you want and build as many bridges as you want when you've got $1 trillion in debt to someone? I mean, is it really ever an even playing field in any sort of deal if someone's got that leverage over yourself in a country, do you think?
I think there are areas, because let us not forget that with the energy the way that it is and the frequency is, money is not always the answer. And some countries, there are aspects of the soul and the being of the peoples that they place above money. And if we're talking about specific countries, there is pride, and there is, what do you look like, outside, and they're very, certain types of countries are very keen to make sure that the image that is portrayed of their peoples and their country fits along with what the ancestors would be proud of. And if that is a possible way, and because Trump has that energy, and because he was an emperor before, he knows how to negotiate that very, very easily with leaders. He knows what they need.
Yeah, I get you. See, I fully agree with everything you're saying. We need to wait and see what happens. I just think this debt thing is going to be a nightmare.
It is going to be a nightmare, but he is a patriot. He loves his country, but we also have Xi Jinping, who loves his country too, and his people. So already the basis is they will both do what is right for their country and for their people.
That's what scares
me.
They're
very aware of what is right and what is wrong, what should be done.
Yeah, that's what scares me. We'll
just have to wait.
Yeah, I'm still not out of the woods with China yet. They scare me a little bit. So what about, before, I mean, I can't remember the last time a president was running for office and had definitely one, but possibly two foiled attempts to, make them no longer exist. Do you see any more shenanigans popping up for...
I think that's part of the reason, apart from the awful weather, which is pretty puffy. I do think that part of the issue, and I think the weather played into it rather nicely, is moving the inauguration inside. And I think the energies around that is showing categorically that they will be able to control what's happening inside a building a lot easier than if it was sort of out in such a wide area. But they're going to stream it, I believe. I heard they're going to be streaming it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just put my hands up right now. If I was an American, I would have voted for Trump both times. So I'm just putting that out there now. I can't wait to see what he's going to bring, what's coming next. I genuinely expect, honestly, Trump's the sort of guy that if he was going to introduce off-worlders to us, he would have them walk out on stage, Trump dancing with him, and that would be it. He's like, "They're here." Do you know what I mean? And
They've been here a long time already. They've
yeah,
been here forever.
for sure. But I'm so here for it. Like he's a very interesting character to walk. He's one of the only men in the world that just woke up one day and went, "You know what? I think I'm just going to be president," and just funded his
go and fix things. A lot of people thought that he wasn't keen on running, but I didn't get that from him. Actually, I got when I had a good look at him, I thought, you know what, mate, you're actually quite excited that you might be able to do something for the greater good.
Yeah,
you know, you've built buildings, you've done all these things, and now you're sick and tired of having to be on the sidelines and having your say, no one's listening to you. Now you're going to go ahead and do it. So, and he did it. But he was very happy about doing it, I must say.
I genuinely don't think that the first time he won, he had any thought or win that he would ever win. And when he won, he was like, "Oh God!" And he pulled it off. But like I say, I would have voted. Now listen.
Yes.
Elon Musk. We're getting some questions about Elon. The one being, what is Elon's agenda? I mean, that's quite a chunky question.
That's a big one, and we've only got 15 minutes.
Exactly. So, hit us with the meaning of life as well, Beverli, and our simple one.
Just like that, Ron. Just like that. We're going to have to maybe do this one again, I think. So what I've got here, I did this one today actually with Muskie, and it was quite an interesting one because he's another one that. He is one of these fanatics about, I've got to have justice. It's got to be right. I don't like it. Truth, justice, honesty. It's got to be correct. So the one big thing I got was that he is going to retaliate against certain individuals here in the UK that are saying that he shouldn't interfere with the, the victims of gangs and the critical support that's needed for are victims of gangs, and also he's going to continue, believe it or not, he's going to highlight the lack of continued support, and I think he's going to have a go at RPM as well. I kept looking at him, and he was like, "It's got to be right. It's got to be right. You can't allow this. This is awful." And that I think comes from his South African mentality, because women still in South Africa are pushed down, and I mean, there's one rape every 8 minutes, one R word every 8 minutes. Sorry about that. So he is going to fund it, and he's going to push further investigation, and he's going to want to defend victims further. And I don't think that here in the UK we're going to be able to have much say about that, because he will put his money where his mouth is. The other thing was, I got this unusual one. I'm not quite sure why I got this 2 little bit spikes on it, which I thought, don't quite know what that is, but I'll share it with you. He intends to shed light in politics, but he's also going to add another level of evidence on requests for immigration to applications, for immigration to America. And he's also going to add another 2 or 3 layers into the food industry and into big pharma. So I think he's on his another little hamster wheel, where he's talking about the need for justice and to clean up things and to get things working as they should. So it'll be pharma, immigration, the food industry, and obviously making sure over here that he makes as much noise as he can about in the UK what's not working well and what should work better.
There's a lady in the side chat called Sue C. If you all just scroll up, there's words that we can't use, but she basically summarizes everything that Beverli couldn't just say there. So the 2 words there, the first word and then gangs, we call them GGs. And it's the GGs that Beverli's talking about, that Elon has called our government out for basically allowing to run rampant in our country. And it's been quite the it's been quite the spanner in the works for our current government, and rightfully so. Some of these stories and these reports are harrowing from parents and from young survivors. So
actually, I have two as my clients. So shout out to them. I have 2 of them. So I know it extremely well, and I had to RV a couple of things. just to clarify what was said in the report and what actually happened with the energies around it for the police. So that's really all that I can say. And the person who said to me directly was Elon Hadrian, Emperor of Rome, in his previous life. I'm not quite sure where you got that information from, but he definitely was an emperor. I'm not sure whether he was a Hadrian emperor on Rome, but he definitely was an emperor, and it was in Roman times. And I think this is when you look at the two energies, the Elon Musk energy, we see him in front of us now, and also the Trump energy. Both emperors, one Chinese emperor, another one Roman emperor. So you can see now how that energy in the triangulation starts working. So we've got a third one to make a triangulation. So Trump, Musk, and there's one other question mark. So there'll be a third one over here coming in.
Do you know what Elon Musk's original business was called? Before Tesla, after
what, the one in South Africa?
So he invented PayPal and then sold PayPal, right?
Yeah.
But then he opened a company called the Boring Company, right? Which specialized in underground tunnels and digging underground tunnels. And we have Lorraine here in the side chat. Will Elon help expose wrongdoings underground? I wonder if they're deep in the Elon archives, if there's odd contracted jobs that have been done throughout LA with the Boring Company that maybe, I mean, I'm just speculating here. Maybe he has some information on. I don't know, but
I think he does, and because he's full on about making, and also we're in the cycle now where everything that was hidden, everything that was secret, will be exposed, and everything that has been happening underground and being in clandestine situations. All that energy now is just coming up. Every little piece of light is going to burrow its way into the dark areas. So I absolutely think that Elon, having seen how he was in South Africa and how he is now in a new country, and he's doing as much work as he can, he definitely, his bottom line is he wants to make a difference. And he's done a lot of stuff, but it hasn't made the biggest difference. And he wants to make a huge difference. The other thing I saw with him, which is an aside from the political side, is that he's had direct contact with off-worlders, but that's for another show.
Okay. Well, here, misinformation is just throwing about shade at Elon here. Elon can't have normal relationship with women. He has to do weird stuff that a psychopath, and he's a psychopath who only lies. It's interesting because there has been a lot of interesting reports about Elon's personal life and things like that. I just wanted to throw that one in there just to make sure there's balance from the voice of the side chat, Beverly.
Of course.
Balance from the voice of the side chat. Also, Susie, you don't have to worry. You apologized earlier about the words used in the side chat. You don't have to worry. You're allowed to type them. But on here,
I can't say them, and I was wrong.
No. You were fine. It was just when we said gangs, there's a lot of different ways that people could interpret gangs depending on the culture of their country. So GGs are the horrible, nasty ones we were talking about here.
Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me.
No,
I did say the R word, and I'm really sorry. I didn't.
That's all right. We were miles into the stream. Don't worry.
And greetings to South Africa, everybody there. Hello. Who was Diddy in his past life? He was the chap that I mentioned in the 1930s that was working on the site in. I think he was working for the New York Housing Department. There's actually a picture of him. I think we did it with Doria. We did a past life regression one on Diddy, and there's a picture of him. I think it was not last week. I think it was the week before, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Ron? Where we did the review. Yeah, he was a worker on a construction site.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember. Sorry, I was in the side chat there. My brain was buffering. But yeah, no, I do remember.
Apparently TikTok is back on. So somebody is saying to us that it's back on at the moment.
But people also come into side chats and say R.I.P. Joe Rogan just to make everyone lose their freaking minds. So I mean, Mackenstein in the side chat, you're out in the US of A. Is it a state by state shutdown thing, or is it across the board? Is it back on? TikTok is back in the USA. Wow, it took less than 4 hours, guys. 4 hours, and you managed to get it back on. Well done. So
Yep, and I mean I did this morning, and I said here TikTok will be allowed to continue in America with additional rules of engagement and change, and that's what it is.
What would be interesting, right, is because we've got Elon Musk, right, good friends with Trump, Elon Musk, owner of Twitter, but Twitter's not allowed in China, right? Elon's website is banned in China, so he's like, look. I know I can't. I'm you know, I don't want to support the TikTok ban because it's freedom of speech, but at the same time, no one's allowed to use my app. My app's not allowed in China, so your app's not allowed here. But it was quite an interesting point. It was quite an interesting point because there's some really interesting documentaries on YouTube all about how much deeper the use of social media and apps for an entire nation is. During the lockdown period, you literally had a little color that appeared on the Chinese version of WhatsApp that told anyone where you could travel, if you were infected, all of this stuff going through WhatsApp, the Chinese version of WhatsApp. Wild. It's wild. If you're in Discord will be back open this week, everybody. And on my website, I will have a new dictionary for everyone where things like GG and PDF file will be for everyone.
Yes. Send it to me. I'm sorry I didn't break Discord. I didn't go on there. All we did last night was talk on it. We didn't do anything to it. So
no,
I'm sorry if we broke it.
No, we're good. We're good. But no, Discord, we just lock it down because having the doors open to your village unguarded is not a wise plan for anyone.
Okay. Yeah, so that was that one. What else did we had Elon? I'm just going to my notes. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about the Meghan person.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
And you're going to probably like this. Let me just grab it. What did I say here? The energies on the splicing energy. So the splicing energies is where you get an inanimate object. So maybe like my lovely crystal. And then you put energies into it. And then you splice it out and you send it out. But with this energy around it. Okay. So anything that has the Meghan Markle energy around it. Oh dear. Not only will it fail, but it's almost like it's got a very dark cloud that goes onto the product, whatever the product is. And I saw that and I thought, wow, what happens if she's going to be given jewelry or she's going to be given something to, I don't know, sponsor or whatever it is people like that do? That is going to have a bit of a funny little cloud on it. So, oh dear, that's not really very good, is it?
Listen, it's actually two forms of DNA, Agent Orange. It's a hair sample and a blood sample. No, but it will be open against you. I forgot to say this to you as well. I got myself a little point here. Right here. I got my first little crystal, what the hell do we call it? Just call them points, right? The quartz points.
Yeah, what have you got? Oh, have you got one? Come on,
yeah,
come on.
One, yeah.
Come, show. I want to see.
It's got some very nice little imperfections running through it though.
Oh, nice.
And it's odd because this one up here, you can see this line. It's almost like a line running through it.
You know that we can't see you and that you don't have a picture up.
Oh, I do have a picture up.
Where? You've got a picture not of you. I can't see anything. Why can't I see anything?
Really?
No. I can't see anything at all.
Can nobody see me?
Nope. Nobody. I haven't been able to see you right from the beginning.
No. What?
Yes,
you pushed the wrong button, Beverli. You pushed the button, man.
I didn't push the button.
We can't see. You can't see me. No one can see me. No one can see me.
No. All you can see is my talking head on the side of the screen.
What?
Yes. I'll push the other one there where there's two of us, but there's only me on the left.
All right. Okay. Beverli, entertain the people. Entertain the people while Ron goes and fixes his stuff.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I did. I think it's probably my fault. I think I did something wrong. Sorry. Still learning, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the show. Oh my goodness me. I see that we've got some individuals that are streaming all sorts of things live, which is quite interesting. And I think also the foreign leaders are into the Forbidden City in China, in Beijing. I went into the Forbidden City. I was in the Forbidden City. In fact, we had a really, really good day, a whole day, because it's huge. and picked up all sorts of amazing energies and went into the emperor's bedroom, which was great too. That was amazing. And looked at all the fountains and waterfalls, which are beautiful stones that are shipped from all over the country. And now we can see you, Ron.
Good, right. I don't know what that, because I could see myself the whole time. I couldn't understand why Bev was moving the things about. So when I was over here, you just couldn't see anything at all, and Bev was just tiny. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what I did. I just apologize to all our viewers.
Bev,
I'm still learning. I'm sorry.
What you did was you told me 56 minutes into the stream that at no point could anyone see the ghost. Right?
Yeah, but I thought maybe that's what you wanted.
Oh,
maybe.
No, I'm a moron. I don't know what I did. So anyway, yeah, I got myself a little point.
Look.
Right?
So you got a single point and I've got the double point. That's lovely. That's a nice one.
But what's super interesting, right, is when I got it down the bottom here, there was these little imperfections running through.
Oh, the phantoms. Yes. How beautiful.
But last night after I think it was you and Adria that done the energy transfer. It's got this weird line running through it now.
Oh, well, that's probably it. So I've got to jump over to the show with Elena Delon with Sean.
That's so inside my crystal.
Jumping across.
Yeah, you go and do your thing. I'll keep this running for a couple of minutes, and then everyone will scoot over.
I'll see everyone again shortly.
See you all over there. Well, Beverli will see you all over there. I'm going to go and do some real world stuff. But thank you all for being here. Let me just make sure I can see when everyone goes live over here. All right. So we'll sit and chat for a minute, people. How is everyone doing? How are you all? You know, apparently you've not seen me all night, but everything's good here. Little baby Nova's good. I've got a wee tooth that's got a crack in it or a wee chip, and it keeps like every time I talk. So annoying. What do you think of the backdrop? Looking pretty cool. I need to get some more black drape to go down here, and we've got the lights in here too. It's slowly coming together. Slowly. Yeah, the shirt's all right too. Yeah, Dan got me another one of these for Christmas. I'm great, thank you. Some really nice comments about Ron today in the side chat. I really appreciate it. It's very, very nice to have your support and continued support. But I have the driest mouth ever. You just need to bear with me a second. Yeah, the background kind of cycles between colors, Fifi. The side here is starting to look good because I really like. I started off YouTube being a floating head in darkness, right? And I love it. Okay, I love it. I love it so much, being the floating head in darkness. If you are ever making a documentary and have no money, this is how you light yourself. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, no budget. Be the floating head. Be the floating head. In fact, I'm pretty sure my first documentary that I'd done, I went to Primark and got 3 of the same black zip-up hoodies, and those were the only thing I would film in, so that it would all look like it was filmed in one session, right? Obviously, it wasn't. Consistency, right? So yeah. But yeah, we do like the lights. We do like the lights. The lights are freaking awesome. But yeah, this is triggering me, this bit here. And do you know what else triggers me? Do you see that fat line? Wait, here. You see that black line? How it's like smooth and we've got a chunky bit here. Don't like that. I've managed to get most of it to dissipate on this side. So I just need to do the same on that side and get some more of this black funky stuff. And then we'll be good. Ron, what is for dinner? Well, it's funny you should say that. Ron, because Dan's been in recovery and we've not really been going to the supermarket as much, right? I've been losing my mind, right? Like, I've been losing my mind. And we finally got a big shop in the other day. So in my fridge, there is the most oversized sirloin steak you've ever seen in your life. There's 2 big Wagyu Wagyu burgers, and then there's 2 big bits of cod. Oh, so the options are endless. But Dan is having some sort of vegetarian tortellini in like a Mediterranean sauce, and then I do these little tiny carrots and potatoes and like a garlic and herb butter that she likes. I got a new cooker last year, just at the end of the year. This is the year of the cooking for me. I'm putting a smoker in the back garden, the big double grills out there. This is the year where the garden gets converted. And once that garden is converted, man, I just can't wait. I can't wait to be doing a live stream on a Friday with Samson whilst I've got the grill on, talking nonsense, smoking something in the smoke. I just can't wait. But it was quite interesting talking again about Meghan Markle tonight. Very interested to do a follow-up show. Yeah. No, a big grocery shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know the difference between like going to the little local shop that everything's way more expensive than the big supermarket. So you don't really overindulge when you do the little shops from like the Tesco local. Listen, Tesco, don't call it Tesco local and then absolutely gank me on how much you charge for everything. Don't put all the little shops out of business and then be like, no, Tesco. So yeah, but look, thank you everyone for being here. I will see you all tomorrow, and to all my mods, love you guys. To the community, love you guys. To the Atwood family, love you guys. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow, guys. Hey guys, see you later, guys. Bye, guys.